Hi everyone, I'm Jeanette McMahon and I work for Darlington Borough Council Housing Services. I manage the housing options team and we're here today to tell you a little bit about how housing services deal with domestic abuse. My colleague is here as well. Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, yes, my name's Sarah Williams and I'm the Housing Options Team Leader for Darlington Borough Council.
Thank you. Right, Sarah, so how do housing options staff deal with homelessness presentations for domestic abuse?
Yes, anybody who is presenting to our service for being a victim of domestic abuse, we would treat that individual sensitively under the Code of Guidance. Darlington Borough Council follow the cross-government definition of domestic abuse which is set out in the Domestic Abuse Act of 2021. A person who is homeless and a victim of domestic abuse would be classed as being in priority need and would be awarded higher priority on our social housing register. We would offer expert specialist support to each victim so that they could be provided with safe accommodation that best supports their needs, whether that is in a refuge or other safe housing. We can also support the victim to stay in their own home if the perpetrator has left and making sure that the home can be made safe. For anybody who needs to approach our service, they can do so by contacting the Housing Options team during office hours on 01325 405 333 and out of hours through our emergency duty team on 01642 524552. Anybody who is currently suffering domestic violence and feels unsafe, if you do contact our customer service team on 01325 405 333 and ask for Annie, we do know that you are not safe to remain in your home at that time.
Thank you. Do you want to talk a little bit through what happens when someone does present to us?
Yes, so each person would be allocated a case support worker, and that caseworker would then provide a personal housing plan with each victim. We would explore the homeless pathway and make sure that you are signposted to the appropriate services. We work with family help, who are the refuge, to see if that's the best route to provide accommodation. We work closely with Harbour, who provide the floating support for domestic abuse. We have a navigator programme. We make sure that we offer interim accommodation where appropriate, and we also offer to house the perpetrator where appropriate to make sure the victim and possibly children can remain in their home.
Thank you. We know in housing we can't do the work on our own. So can you talk a little bit about the joint working that we do?
Yes, at Darlington Borough Council we take a multi-agency approach. So twice a week we sit on a multi-agency risk assessment conference known as MARIC. That's where the police are involved, domestic abuse and health professionals. We also then have a new project that's recently started in Darlington called 4Kids. That's where all the agencies work with both the victim and the perpetrator to make sure that there's no further harm caused to children in the household. We have a domestic abuse and sexual violence effective group known as DASVAG, and we work with all professionals involved in there to make sure that action plans are put in place to make sure that the victim is safe.
Thanks, Sarah. So some people live in a council property, and if you live in a council property, you'll have a housing management officer who works on your area. If you need support, they are all trained around domestic abuse and will work with you discreetly. Any support that you possibly need. So please approach us on the information that is being given there. We will support you at either remain in your own home or to make you safe and signpost you to any other professionals who you need to work with. There's floating support and accommodation support available. So please contact us and encourage you to do so. Please don't suffer in silence. Sarah, can you talk a little bit about the facts and figures that we have around domestic abuse?
Yes, so last financial year we saw 91 applicants who had been suffering in domestic abuse approach our services. To date, so far this year, we have supported 52 applicants, so that's also getting applicants into long-term accommodation. We found that the top 5 reasons for homeless presentations last year were people who had been asked to leave by family and friends, loss of accommodation such as the private rented property, relationship breakdown, then domestic abuse and offending. The people who are presenting tend to have a mixture of needs, and which can include mental health, substance misuse, physical health, and offending history.
Great, thank you. Thanks everyone for listening, and please contact us if you need any help and support at all.
Thank you.